Your condo in Florida, just like this one, is going to bankrupt you, most likely. And I'm going to tell you why. Let's watch this little video right now and let's get back into it.
Condo owners being priced out by assessment fees. Some of our neighbors here in Orlando just got a $22,000 bill. They have about 2 months to come up with it all. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, so now we just saw this video and I wasn't joking. It is going to make you either sell your house, bankrupt you, take out loans, and all this crazy other stuff. Now, why is that? People say, oh, it's the law. It's the law that that I live on a coastal community, so it's the law. No, you mismanage your HOA. And guess how I know? I own a house in an HOA, and I know how mismanaged they are. Why are they so mismanaged? A few simple reasons is that people on the HOA, I'm on the board, I got voted in, and I paid so much money that, trust me, I'm gonna watch my investment like a hawk. I have to make sure that everything runs smoothly. And I feel like Americans, or just people in general, not only Americans, have this notion of, I'm gonna let my neighbor decide and I'm not gonna be worried about it and just let them deal with it. And so it's rather that my neighbor gets to decide rather than you. But when shit hits the fan and HOA dues go up, people are all mad about it. And then I said, who went to the meeting? And I'm only in a complex of 18 houses. And I'm young too. I'm only 30, 31. And so I'm on the board with these 60-year-olds. And they're like, who are you? I'm like, I have just the same amount of rights as you do, buddy. My vote's just the same. And so is yours. So I personally feel like everybody on the board, everybody that owns a house needs to join each HOA meeting, because each meeting is very, very important. It's where they tell you the numbers, you voice your opinions, you say, you know what? I don't like what's going on over there. I'm going to change it. I don't like what you're doing for my community, so I'm 100% not going to vote for you. I am not going to vote for you. I'm going to vote myself in and I'm going to share this. And you run a little campaign and maybe your neighbor really likes what you have to say and you do that. And it's funny, on my own HOA, there was one person that didn't get elected because they couldn't get the mail in time. So that is not my problem, not their problem. And it is their problem now because they didn't get voted in. So it was me winning by default. So it's like, okay, great, thanks. So I'm in for 2 years. I'm gonna, watch my investments, and I need to be on the pulse. What's going on? If there's something not right, I need to make sure of it. So people need to. And if I was in Florida, I'd be running for my HOA right now, and see what I can do. But I got some stuff for you guys, what you can do if you're in this situation, or what I would do. And so let's dive into it. So first of all, I would see if my HOA would allow me to make payment plans. So if you're trying to pay back those $22,000, I would actually see if you're able to pay it in monthly installments. The only huge con to that is you need to have room to budget this for this, so you can actually pay for it. So you need to have room in your budget to pay for however long this is going to be, because HOAs can't take out loans and they can do things from a lender and actually get the funds or do whatever to pay that into reserves or something like it. So you can check if your HOA allows you to payment plans, discuss the terms of, to make sure that that's there. So as you can take out personal loans, you should probably be able to get a loan to cover those, to get the refunds, get the reserves up there where they should be. Special assessment insurance. So this was an AI recommendation. It said you should check if there's a special assessment insurance, if your homeowner's insurance policy includes coverage for special assessment. Some policies offer this as an additional rider for your coverage option. So check to see if that is offered, and if it is offered, Man, you are really good. But I would have not come to this if I didn't type it into AI. So you guys need to be resourceful and figure this out. You need to call around and do your own research and start not just letting what the HOA president or what they say for granted. You need to be your own best advocate to make sure that you're not getting screwed. And life is always easy when you're just letting other people make the decision for you, but you need to put in the legwork, you need to work out, and you need to find the details on how to move over and move the money. Explore financing options. If your payment plan with the HOA is not available or sufficient, you might consider personal loan or home equity line of credit. However, these should be approached with caution as they increase your debt burden. Yeah, and that's where your debt to income ratio is going to have a huge factor in it. So if you already have car payments and all that, and the bank's going to say, "Nah, I can't lend you another dollar because they just tightened lending," you're going to be in a bunch of hurt. So you got to be aware of your finances and make sure that you always have room for emergencies if it's on your credit or whatnot, so you can move money around and do that. And in the video that I had displayed, it said that, oh, we're in the working class. Yeah, I know you guys are in the working class, but you still got to be watching your investments like a hawk. You have to be so aware of what's going on with your HOA, with your community, with everything. And you say, oh, it's a 1800 community. It doesn't matter how many people there are. You need to be aware of everything. You need to read the newsletters. You have rights. So you have laws that they need to abide by. And if you can cite the laws and say this is not right, you can find new uh, new HOA representatives that you want to vote for. You can rally it. But most times, people actually, just like this comment here, it's too late because they're incompetent, they don't want to do it, or then they have their own best interest in mind and do things. So, how do you get around that? Well, you need to make alliances, make friends, get to know your neighbors, and actually build a community, and then say, hey, I want to propose this like I do, and I call up my neighbor who's also on the board and say, hey, what do you think about this? Oh, I don't like it because of this. Okay, great, I haven't thought about that. Let's see how we can change that around to make everybody please everybody. And so we have to also, because in our community, the road is private property and the HOA owns it, and so we have to have enough funding to keep the roads paved, and that is due about every 10 years. And so I feel these people, because my HOA needs to also have reserves to keep the roads paved and to keep up the maintenance on the around the properties of everybody, because we have some common grounds that we just own. So let's read some of the comments of these videos, because they exactly explain the problem that we're having right now. So this person said, where are all these people commenting that once you pay off the mortgage, you own your place? Yeah, you don't. So that's what I've been saying. I've been saying all these people that are says, you gotta own, you gotta own, you gotta be a homeowner, you gotta be a homeowner. Yeah, and no, it might have been better that you've rented. You might be way, way better off if you rented your own house or rented something, and you would have still had $22,000 than buying that piece of property. Yeah, it might have appreciated, but look how hard it is to get rid of them now. How many people are going to try and sell and move out of the area or do something? At the end of the video, they even have a U-Haul truck saying like, hey, we gotta do something or move or do things. It's like, come on. The only thing that's constant is your fixed rate. If you fix the rate on your house, that's the only thing that's fixed. And everything else is variable. Insurance variable, your HOA dues are variable, and yeah. So let's look at another comment. This one is a good one. One of the big problems I've seen it plays too many times the HOA board are completely incompetent. Yeah. And guess what? If you are an owner, you have the right to vote. You have your opinions. But most people, in my HOA at least, I only seen one person. I've been in the board now for a year and a half. and I've only seen one person show up. So it's the board showing up and one other person. I've only seen one person show up. So that show up rate is horrible. And if you really want to get stuff done, you need to be at the helm. So if you want to be involved in your community, if you join those HOA meetings, you know what's going on. You know who's delinquent on HOA dues. You know what they're trying to do if they're trying to put up a fountain in the middle of the road. You know when they want to repave. And that sparks conversations. And so then you're like, hey, did you join the meeting? Yeah, what are they talking about this? Well, I've asked these and these questions. And you become a leader and people talk to you about it and you make more friends. You have conversations about it. And my thing is I written on my thing, on my voting ballot, what do I run for? I said save money. I filled out 2-liners. They said, what makes you competent to run for the board? I wrote on it, save money. Didn't even care. I said, I just care about saving money. I don't want to spend more money for the management company. I just want to save the money. And then by default, I kind of got elected. So it's very important that you guys really, really take HOA seriously. And people say, oh, it's all the politics. Yeah, it is, but it's also your money. It's also your money. And if HOAs go up by 20% or the maximum that they're allowed to increase it by, you're losing out. So you're really, really enticed to do a good job and actually run for the board and change things. And I've seen a lot of rises lately in HOA, people complaining. So what do? You really gotta be involved. And once you're really, really involved and you really get like stuff done or at least try to, then you're at least having conversations and actively participating rather than throwing hissy fits after it's all done and saying, nobody voted for you, blah, 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 this is crazy. Well, you didn't vote, so if you don't vote, you can't really complain. But I see a lot of people just complain about it afterwards. It's like, oh, I didn't get that. Well, you should have been proactive about it. And you can give your board or the HOA management company, hey, I didn't get the letter. Can you resend it to me? Is there something else? They're probably more than happy to do it because then there's more participation and it's then the more people that show up on the meetings, then you can, then there's more debates, there's more questions, then there's many different viewpoints, and it's gonna help everybody out. But if nobody shows up and the board and just does different things that you don't like, but you're not showing up, I can't smell that you don't want us to plant a tree right across from your backyard that's HOA management, the HOA land, because it's gonna put shade on your pool, and so your pool doesn't get as hot. So I don't know that, but if you come to the meeting and you say, hey, that might throw shade on my deck or my pool, and it's gonna not be, and I'm not gonna be appreciated of that, then we can take that into consideration. And you're like, you're right, that makes a lot of sense. But people just don't want to show up. They don't think it's enough, but then they complain and say, I'm really not liking where this is going with the HOA. Well, you're not participating, so you're out. Let's look at another comment on that video and see what they're saying. Okay, here we go. Soon no one will buy a condo in Florida and when their monthly condo fees, assessment, property taxes, and homeowner insurance are more than their mortgage. Yeah, it's when you pick a place to live that has natural disasters, and it's been kept, it's been kept down for a long time because hurricanes didn't hurt it, and all these other places didn't really hurt you guys with hurricanes and whatnot. And now insurance is like, we can't lose money. We still got to make a profit. So then now you're like between a rock and a hard place because where are you going to go? So you got to move out of that area or just eat the costs, or the price of just everything goes up. And what does that mean? That means you got to make more. So to put it into terms is that a gallon of milk costed 2 years ago cost $2. Now it costs $6 because everything in Florida is going to be so much more expensive because they have to rebuild it. And and Florida was like one of the biggest places with fraud for insurance. So then they're like, well, we got to do something because these roofers and the whatnot, basically, you got a new roof every few years and you just let them do it. And yeah, it's nice for you, but it sucks for everybody now. So it's like a man-made disaster waiting to happen. So now it's either get collapsed or evicted. Two two wrongs don't make it right. Yeah, I know, but hey, once there's like, I almost feel like people want to live by the beach and they want to live at a great place with sunshine and whatnot, and then they don't want to deal with the consequences that come from places that they're actually living at. So it's like you gotta understand that Florida has hurricanes, had hurricanes for decades. And when you look at the hurricane, so the code for hurricane-proof houses has went up. So been, as we have more hurricanes, the wind standards and whatnot we build houses now way different and more wind resistance than we did a decade or two ago. So storms are getting stronger. And that is another reason why you got to be super aware where you buy. So you might want to say, oh, this time's a little dicey for me now. Let me just rent. But people then are like, I don't want to be a renter. A renter has bad stigma around it. Well, not always. Not always. There's renters that are now saying, oh, this isn't great. Maybe I'll hang another year or two around in Florida, and then I'm going to head out. And it is nothing to be ashamed of if you're a renter, in my eyes, because you can invest your money in the stock market, you can buy rental properties in another state, you can do a whole bunch of things that you want to do to make investment. It doesn't have to be homeownership, right? But people just feel like homeownership's the golden way. And I feel like just because our previous parents and their parents made their majority of money with it, doesn't mean necessarily that we're going to be doing our majority money with that, or that we're going to make money with it. Because once all these rates are keep going up, we got to see where the top is. It's where the bottleneck is. Where the top is, where nothing can give. Because you can only squeeze so much money out of every homeowner till they're saying, now we're done, we're selling. And if you can't sell it, it's going to foreclose. But then you see condos, just a bunch of them foreclosed. And it might be that a condo is only going to be worth $20,000 or 50 because homeowners insurance and HOA dues and everything is thousands of dollars. So what a great way of tossing away tens of thousands of dollars of your seed capital. So let me know if you agree, if I'm thinking truly delusional. Um, Let me know. I'd love to have a debate or talk about it. And I will see you guys in the next video.